Marcus stood at the airport gate, his first-class ticket in hand. He'd saved for years to afford this trip, a well-earned celebration of a major career milestone. Dressed in a sharp suit, Marcus carried himself with quiet confidence. Yet, as he approached the first-class boarding line, he noticed the attendant's dismissive glance. "Sir," she said, her tone firm but laced with something colder, "this line is for first-class passengers only." Marcus paused, confused, then held up his boarding pass. "I know. I'm in the right line." The attendant didn't even glance at the ticket. She crossed her arms and smirked slightly. "I think you're mistaken. Economy boarding is on the other side." Around them, passengers started to take notice. Whispers spread. Some averted their eyes, others watched intently, curious to see what would unfold. Marcus, keeping his composure, smiled and handed her the ticket. "Perhaps you'd like to check it yourself?" Reluctantly, she took the ticket, her expression shifting as she scanned it. It was indeed first class. Her cheeks flushed. "Well," she stammered, there must have been an error in the system." "An error?" Marcus repeated, his voice calm but edged with steel. "Or an assumption?" The crowd murmured louder now. A woman nearby, seated with her young daughter, frowned and shook her head. Another man in a business suit leaned over to get a better look. The attendant stiffened. "I'll need to confirm this with my supervisor." Marcus raised an eyebrow. "Feel free," he said, crossing his arms. "But while we wait, let me say something." He turned to the growing crowd, his voice steady and deliberate. "This isn't just about me. It's about the assumptions we make every day. About the unconscious biases that creep into our decisions, big or small. It's about the quiet ways we judge someone's worth by their appearance." The whispers stopped. All eyes were on him now. Even those who had pretended not to notice earlier were paying attention. Marcus continued. "Do I look like someone who doesn't belong in first class? And why is that? Because of my skin? My clothes? The truth is, I've worked harder than most people here can imagine to earn this seat. But that's not the point. The point is, no one should have to justify their place to anyone." The attendant shifted uncomfortably, glancing toward her walkie-talkie, but she didn't interrupt. An older gentleman in the crowd nodded. "He's got a point," the man said loudly. Others murmured in agreement. Moments later, the supervisor arrived, flustered. "What seems to be the issue here?" The attendant handed over the ticket, mumbling something about verifying it. The supervisor scanned it quickly and nodded. "This ticket is perfectly valid. I apologize for the inconvenience, Mr. Thompson. Please, go ahead and board." But Marcus didn't move. Instead, he addressed the supervisor. "Thank you for confirming my ticket. But this situation is about more than just me. What will your airline do to ensure this doesn't happen again? To me or anyone else?" The supervisor blinked, caught off guard. We'll review our training policies," he said hastily. "And we deeply regret this misunderstanding." Marcus nodded slowly. "Good. Because a simple apology isn't enough. It's time for change." As he walked down the jet bridge to board, the tension in the room dissolved into murmurs. Some clapped, others stared after him, lost in thought. But the story didn't end there. Once on the plane, Marcus found himself seated next to a well-dressed woman who had witnessed the entire scene. She introduced herself as Eleanor Davis, CEO of a major tech company. "I have to say," she began, "you handled that with remarkable grace." Marcus smiled. "Thank you. But it's a fight I'm tired of having." Eleanor leaned forward. "Have you ever considered speaking about this publicly? I run a foundation focused on diversity and inclusion. We're always looking for voices like yours to share these stories." The flight passed quickly as they talked about their shared experiences, the challenges they'd faced, and the ways they could inspire change. Weeks later, Marcus found himself standing on a stage at a corporate conference, telling his story to an audience of thousands. His words didn't just resonate, they sparked a movement within the airline industry and beyond. Training programs were overhauled, policies rewritten, and people inspired to confront their own biases. The incident at the airport had been just the beginning. Marcus's words had left the airport silent, but they echoed far beyond, igniting conversations that would last a lifetime. Please like, share and subscribe our channel for more interesting stories.